The biggest debate when planning a Hokkaido trip, train or car. We did both and I'll do it the same way again. We quickly realized trains wouldn't work for the flower fields, national parks, and eastern Hokkaido we actually wanted to see. So our rental hunt began, a battle between Klook's pricing and Toyota's reliability. But here's something I didn't expect. I had to search 3 different Toyota rental branches online before I found the car we actually wanted. Most people don't think about this until they start booking. Before I explain why, let's look at the real numbers. Because the price difference between Klook and Toyota might surprise you. In this video, I'll show you exactly what we paid for the rental, tolls, petrol and parking, and whether renting a car in Hokkaido is actually worth it. First, here's my verdict. This was our 3rd trip to Hokkaido. On our first trip, we visited Sapporo, Otaru, and Memanbetsu in winter using only trains and buses. We don't need to rent a car in winter, and honestly, it worked perfectly well. On our next 2 summer trips, we drove. So yes, you can absolutely travel around Hokkaido without a car. The real question is, which parts of Hokkaido you are planning to visit? If most of your time is in Sapporo or Otaru, ask yourself how many days you will actually be driving. For us, renting a car from day one didn't make sense. We would have to pay for the rental, insurance, and parking before we actually need it. Even if you drove in Sapporo, it will only be used for short distance trip. We deliberately split our trip. Public transport for Sapporo and Otaru, then a rental car for rural Hokkaido. For our itinerary, that turned out to be the best balance of convenience and flexibility. Biei and Furano are different. If you don't want to drive, there are still options. In 2026, the Biei View bus runs half-day sightseeing tours from Biei Station, covering places like Blue Pond, Shirahige Falls, and Shikise no Oka. There are also full-day tours from Sapporo. For example, when I checked, I found a Klook tour covering major Furano and Biei attractions such as Farm Tomita, Shikise no Oka, and Blue Pond. So you absolutely don't have to rent a car just to see Biei and Furano. But for us, the difference was flexibility. We wanted to combine Blue Pond, Shirahige Falls, Farm Tomita, and Ninga Terrace in our own schedule, and without following a fixed day itinerary or sightseeing timetable. That's why we choose to drive. Eastern Hokkaido was where our decision became easy. Places like Sounkyo, Shiretoko, and Utoro do have local buses, but for the route we wanted, a car wasn't just more convenient, it made our itinerary practical. So here's my advice. Don't ask whether Hokkaido needs a car. Ask whether your itinerary does. Mark every attraction on your map. If most of your stops are around railway stations and city centers, public transport may be all you need. If they are scattered across the countryside, that's when renting a car starts to make sense. But before you book one, check whether a seasonal shuttle or local bus already covers the route you need. The next decision was not simply car or no car. It was, how many days did we actually need it? We stayed car-free in Sapporo. We walked, used the subway, and took the train to Otaru. We took a taxi to Shirai Kobito Park and Hokkaido Shrine, which we originally planned to reach by bus, but the non-stop rain that day made us switch to taxis instead. A rental car might have saved us time, but the actual use we have gotten out of it wouldn't have justified the daily cost of rental. So we only collected the car when the rural part of the trip began. That gave us the best of both options, public transport in the city, and then a car once we needed the flexibility. I think this is the part many travelers miss. You do not have to collect a car immediately after landing at New Chitose Airport, and you do not necessarily need to keep it until the day you fly home. Do this instead. Build the city portion and the road trip portion separately. Then rent only for the days where the car is doing real work. Now, why did I choose Toyota instead of booking through Klook? I started with Klook because I use Klook for many travel bookings. It is convenient. You can compare several listings quickly and sometimes the price is attractive. But this was not a one-day rental near a major city. We were taking the car across Hokkaido for 6 days, carrying our luggage and driving into much quieter areas. I did not want to choose based only on the cheapest number on the screen. I wanted to know exactly which rental company I was dealing with. I wanted to see the pickup shop, its operating hours, the vehicle category, insurance options, etc. availability, and the return conditions. Most importantly, I wanted to know who I would contact directly if something went wrong during the road trip. When I compared for our actual trip, I found cheaper options on Klook, but the option I was considering was from a different rental company and listed the car as or similar. I wanted a specific model, so I checked Toyota's own booking site. Prices wasn't the deciding factor in the end. What mattered more was knowing exactly what I was booking and who to call if something went wrong. This does not mean Klook is bad. For a simple rental, I would still compare both. But for this particular road trip, control and clarity mattered more to me than saving the last few dollars. The lesson is not always book Toyota. The lesson is Compare the complete booking, not only the headline price. Then I ran into another problem. The car I wanted did not appear to be available. At first, I assumed Toyota was sold out, but I realized the Toyota website was showing availability according to the specific pickup shop I selected. So I changed the shop. One location had vehicles, but not the size we needed. Another did not have a suitable car category for our luggages. I kept trying different Toyota shops until I finally found a suitable car at one of the Sapporo rental shops. Same company, same city, different shop, different inventory. This is one of the most useful things I learned during the booking process. When one Toyota branch shows no suitable car, that does not automatically mean every Toyota branch is sold out. Search the branches individually. Try airport branches, station branches, and nearby neighborhood shops. But do not choose a distant branch only because the car looks slightly cheaper. Check how you will reach it with your luggage, what time it opens, and whether the return timing fits your itinerary. Do this instead. Shortlist 3 or 4 practical branches and search the dates at every one before changing rental companies completely. The next question was the car itself. We were only a family of 3. Passenger capacity was not the problem, luggages was. We had 2 medium suitcases and 1 large suitcase. Honestly, that would have fit into a smaller car without much trouble. We rented a minivan. Size up from what we actually needed. 2 reasons. My husband was doing all the driving for 6 days straight and he wanted something he felt comfortable in that for long. A bigger, heavier car also tends to sit more steadily in strong wind, and Hokkaido's open coastal roads can get windy. The boot was more than enough. If I'm being fully honest, we paid a bit more than what we needed to for the luggage alone. The extra size was really about driver's comfort and stability, not space. There was another cost we hadn't planned for, the specific model itself. My husband was doing all the driving, so he wanted a particular model he felt comfortable handling for 6 days on unfamiliar roads. And this is where it got interesting. Both Klook and Toyota offered similar models in the same class, but not the exact one he wanted. To get that specific model, we had to choose Toyota online and pay extra. So this wasn't a Klook problem or a Toyota problem. It was the car you actually want usually costs more than the car in the category you searched problem. Do this instead. Size the car for your driver's comfort, not just your luggage count. And if there's a specific model that matters to your driver, search for it by name on both platforms before you compare prices. The headline price you're comparing might not even be the car you end up driving. Before leaving for Japan, we prepared our passports, driving licenses, and international driving permits. The international driving permit is not a replacement for your original license. We brought both. At the counter, Toyota checked our international driving permit and explained the rental process. Before you drive away, take 2 minutes to check the car, note any existing damage, and confirm your insurance cover. Also, make sure the ETC card is installed if you need one, and ask whether the car must be returned with a full tank. 10 minutes of checking at the beginning is much easier than trying to explain a mystery scratch at the end. Now, the part everyone wants to know. What did renting a car in Hokkaido actually cost? Don't stop at the price shown on the first booking page. This was our complete calculation. By the way, these are our actual costs from our own family trip. Nothing in this trip was sponsored. The rental company charged us 137,390 yen before fuel, expressway, cost, and parking. That included our insurance, the one-way rental, the full package, the ETC card, JAF membership, and choosing the exact Toyota Noah model instead of all similar. We paid 11,600 yen for the Hokkaido Expressway pass for 6 days. Petrol cost 13,668 yen. Parking cost 5,100 yen. That brought our complete 6-day driving cost to approximately 167,758 yen. That works out to approximately 28,000 yen per day for a family of 3. Was that cheaper than using the trains? I do not think there is one honest answer without comparing the exact itinerary. A solo traveler following a railway route may spend less using public transport. But for 3 people with luggage, traveling between scattered rural attractions, the value of the car was not only the ticket comparison. It was the time saved, the places we could reach, and the freedom to change our plans when the weather changed. The car was worth it for our itinerary, but that does not mean every Hokkaido visitor needs to pay the same cost. Now, the toll pass mistake. I covered this in our Hokkaido Mistakes video, but it changes the real rental car total, so here is the short version. At the rental counter, the Hokkaido Expressway pass sound simple, unlimited, toll-free use for one fixed price. Everyone online seemed to say just get it. We paid 11,600 yen for 6 days. At the end of the trip, I added up all the tolls we actually used, 7,480 yen. That was all. We paid 4,120 yen more for the pass than our actual toll usage. Here's the important difference. An ETC card records the tolls you actually incur. The Hokkaido Expressway Pass charges a fixed amount for unlimited use of eligible expressways during the selected period. We spent much of our trip on ordinary country roads. Those roads were free, and they were also some of the most beautiful parts of the drive. For our route, the ETC card is enough, and we should have paid the actual tolls instead. Do this instead. Map the complete route and calculate the expected expressway charges before reaching the rental counter. Do the math before the trip, not after it. Petrol was not only a cost question, it became a timing question. Over 6 days, we drove well over 1,000 kilometers across Hokkaido, filled up 4 times and spent 13,668 yen. In Sapporo and Asahikawa, finding petrol was not difficult. The further east we drove, the more carefully we had to plan it. Some rural petrol stations closed much earlier than you might expect. We reached the petrol station in Utoro at around 5:41 in the evening. That was uncomfortably close to closing time. After that, our rule was simple. Do not let the tank fall below half when driving through rural eastern Hokkaido. Do not wait until the warning light appears before beginning the search. Parking was less frightening than I expected. Many rural attractions had free or relatively inexpensive parking. The charges that matter more were hotel parking and keeping a car in larger cities. But there is another cost that does not appear on the receipt: driver energy. Hokkaido roads can be long and quiet. That sounds relaxing, and sometimes it is, but it also makes it easy to underestimate fatigue or quietly add one more attraction to an already full day. You also need to remain alert for wildlife, particularly on darker rural roads. This is especially when you see the bears, fox, or other animal signs which you are to be aware of. A car gives you flexibility. It can also tempt you to plan far too much. Our best road trip days were not necessarily the days with the most stops. They were the days where we left enough time to enjoy the drive and still reached the hotel before everyone was exhausted. Now, this is the topic I worried about before this trip was flying out of Memanbetsu Airport. It's a small regional airport in eastern Hokkaido, and there wasn't much practical information online. I even wondered if we should change our plans and fly back from Asahikawa or New Chitose Airport instead. In reality, it turned out to be one of the easiest parts of our trip. We returned the rental car in Abashiri, spent the night there, and caught the direct airport bus the following morning. Everything went smoothly. For us, flying out of Memanbetsu Airport means we didn't have to drive all the way back to Sapporo just to return the car. Do this instead. If you're planning a one-way Hokkaido road trip, don't rule out a regional airport just because it's small. Check whether it fits your route. It could save you hours of driving back to Sapporo. So, should you rent a car in Hokkaido? If your trip is mainly Sapporo and Otaru, my answer is probably no. Public transport is easy, reliable, and will get you to most places you want to visit. If you are visiting Biei and Furano, I'll consider renting a car only for the days you need it, rather than for your entire trip. If your itinerary includes Sounkyo, Shiretoko, or a wider eastern Hokkaido road trip, I'll strongly consider renting one. If you are traveling solo on a tight budget, public transport and day tours may still be the better option. For our family of 3, carrying luggages and exploring rural Hokkaido, the car was absolutely worth it. Would I book directly with Toyota again? Yes, but only if the branch, vehicle, conditions, and total price suited our trip. I'll still compare Toyota with Klook and other rental companies first. The brand isn't the decision. The complete package is. My booking order is simple. Itinerary first, rental days second, pick up and return locations third, car size fourth, then calculate the total cost, rental, insurance, tolls, petrol and parking, not the other way around. You don't need a car every day in Hokkaido. You need it on the days it genuinely improves your trip. Thank you.